Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. It is a chilly single-digit morning here in Southern Illinois and wow, I overslept. I thought I was snoozing my alarm somehow and I just turned it off, and then a half hour passed and I'm like, no! So here I am getting it together for today. It's a Monday, but what I have in this video, lips are dry, I need to add some lip balm. This is Laneige Watermelon. What I have to talk about here is just an extension of my last video, some other new things, and a lot of you are like, yeah, bring on a part 2. I want to see more new stuff. So I'm just going to dig into that today. I do want to give a little follow-up because I had worn this Maybelline Superstay. It's the 30-hour Lumi Matte Foundation that I have in shade 129. I wore it for the first time in that last video, and I had it layered on top of this Rimmel Multitasker Better Than Filters, kind of a glowy primer type of thing. And I didn't experience world's best staying power. It wasn't as though this faded entirely on me, but it just did not look as fresh like 3/4 of the way through the day as the Superstay 24-hour Skin Tint or Rimmel Lasting Finish or Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte, or what else can I throw into this conversation? It really needed a touch-up. And so the next day I decided I would be wearing this, but without this primer underneath. And honestly, it wasn't that much better. I'm a little disappointed that this is carrying that Superstay name, but it's not wearing amazingly well, at least on my skin, which my skin is normal to dry right now. I wouldn't think I would be giving it a lot of staying power obstacles, but I'll keep working with it. I'll keep putting it in. I love the look. When it goes across the skin, it's thin, but yet it's getting all that coverage. I mean, it's really pretty when you first put it on. Maybe it's just my skin, I'm not sure, but I feel like I'm not having as good of staying power as I am having with a number of other drugstore foundations right now. So seeing that, another thing I can adjust on this, besides like what primer I use underneath, I can try using a little less. I have noticed that a full pump of this gives a lot, so I could also alter the amount that I use and maybe get a better staying power experience. It probably still is too soon to give like the final say on this because it hasn't been that many uses yet. It hasn't even been like a week of wear, but I just wanted you to know that it hasn't wowed me on the staying power, but it's looked really good putting it on. Here's a new thing that we're going to use today. Lottie Hot Glaze. It's the hot glaze. Like you put that on your turkey. No, it's the Hot Glaze Bronzing Serum Drops, and you can use this under foundation or mix with a product to get a more bronzy look. And I don't know, I just saw this online on Walmart's website because Lottie is not a brand carried. Oh no! Drop straight down to my shirt. Hot glaze. Let's just finish the job here. I'm just used to being able to take a dropper and put it on my face and not have any problems, okay? It's really thin though. I don't see a lot of super major bronzing action from that. Do you? I got all my skincare on and I'm kind of putting it on like it's primer. Yeah, it's not coming out. I'm gonna need to use like a shout wipe and pre-treat it, wash it, something. Is it worth it? These didn't do much and it's just kind of like watery. It did a little. It livened my skin up a tidbit, but okay. We're starting off with a bang. It's one of those days when you oversleep a little bit, it's like you get this little roller coaster of stuff going on. The coffee is piping hot though. Next thing I want to use is this lifter sticks. I mentioned this in the last video, but I wasn't able to get a lot of use out of it because I was testing the other foundation. But basically Maybelline is selling these as little multi-purpose sticks. They say it can be coverage. They don't specifically say like these are foundation sticks, but they imply that they are concealer sticks. Kind of as though they could be as much coverage as you want them to be on your skin, or they could highlight or they could contour. I think that's Maybelline's special way of trying to sell maybe multiple of these per person, but I got shade 20, which turns out to be a pretty good skin match for me. And I did play with this as my foundation stick the other day, aka yesterday. Why do we say the other day? But it's not, like, it's creamy enough to blend out, but it's not anywhere in the ballpark of that Fenty foundation stick, which is like really my favorite. It glides on okay. You're not getting a lot of product. It stops there. But a really good thing I noticed about this was I had good staying power yesterday. This lasted quite well. I added concealer and I added powder and stuff. It wasn't just this, of course, on my skin. See what it's giving? I would say medium coverage. Maybe you could really lay it on so thick that you're getting full, but I feel like I'm evening out skin tone, but not really covering up certain imperfections that it would take a concealer to cover up, you know? But I'm blending this in with my Profusion buffing brush and just making it work like foundation. Now Revlon, I noticed, has a new concealer, and I was in store actually yesterday. No, it wasn't yesterday, it was Saturday. I noticed they have a new, like, they called it Glimmer. I don't think it's so much that the concealer has glimmer in it, but it's brightening concealer. But they didn't have my shade. Otherwise I might have picked that up. Anyway, there's that stick all blended in. It does not feel tacky whatsoever. It's not as creamy as some foundation sticks I really love, but it can get the job done, I feel like. So next, I'm just gonna choose a concealer to go in with, a drugstore one, just to stay on the same page. This is Rimmel Multitasker. Shade is Sand. It's a good full coverage concealer, and I'm gonna dot that around like I usually would any other time and get some serious coverage going here. UCA College Nationals were over the weekend. I caught a lot of it. I wasn't able to document much because I was actually streaming it, casting it from my phone to the TV most of the time, so anytime I did too much on my phone, I lost the broadcast. But really great performances in the big school division, co-ed. I got to see that on Sunday afternoon. And the top 5 teams hit 0. That means no deductions. Just stellar routines to where it was really hard to figure out who might actually win. Like, it probably wasn't a lot of points separating anybody, but Alabama came out on top, which ever since I've been watching cheerleading, going back to 1998 when I first started watching these competitions, and I've pretty much kept up every year since. Alabama has won, I believe, 1 time in that division, and they're always fighting for the top. Like, they're just so consistently near the top, and it was really satisfying to see them go ahead and win that. And I thought they'd be extra strong this year because Alabama football wasn't going like into postseason play, like they weren't into the playoffs, and maybe the cheerleaders could focus on their own selves and get ready for competition. Anyway, nobody probably cares about that but me, but I'm gonna use Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in Fair, and we're just gonna set it like we usually would. Just because we use that stick underneath, we're still gonna go about our business as usual here. Can't believe I overslept, and it was like a deep sleep. I was dreaming about something. I can't remember it right now, but for some reason I woke up. And also, not only am I so cozy in my bed, somebody posted something the other day, they're like, why is it 3 a.m. your body wakes you up for no apparent reason, but then the 10 minutes before your alarm goes off, your body becomes as comfortable as it has ever been in your entire life? It's like, I was so comfy, I was so warm, and Biscuits sleeps like right in by me every single night, and it's so sweet, and it's so comfy. Like, before I fall asleep, that cat is on me making biscuits, giving me a little massage. Like, do I have it made or what? We handled the usual suspects. We got the under eye and T-zone with that powder, and now we're just dabbing around. And there's no real, like, absolute need to set out of tackiness at this point, but I might set a little bit just because I love this stuff and I know how well it works. The Super Stay Hybrid 24-Hour Powder Foundation, $128. Light bit of this, it's golden. Speaking of cheer, though, we head to our first competition of the season this weekend. I'm excited for Belle. Her and her team have been working their tails off. Lots of extra practices. So coverage is complete, and now we move into some other new things that came in. I got 2 different types of like cream stick products. One here from Physicians Formula, it's called Butter Glow and Go, and I got the shade Berry Tan. So I want to say this was maybe 3rd in line as far as intensity goes. So we've got our bronzer stick and our blush stick here, and they're both very creamy, very easy to use. I like the glide. It's a formula that it really feels comparable to like the Merit products as that glides across the skin. But here's what I bought with the hope that it would be maybe a Merit dupe, or not necessarily like it had to be, but I just thought, oh, wouldn't that be cool? The CoverGirl TruBlend Skin Enhancers, because they call these balms, Contour Balm and Blush Balm. I got the shades Snatched and Bubblegum Pop. Now these are just not as creamy as I'd like them to be. They're creamy enough to work, like I'm not working that hard to get it on there, but they're not that real, like practically a little bit moisturizing, balmy quality that Merit has. So they're good, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, this is a totally like new type of thing to see in the drugstore. Really intense blush there. I will have to use those in yet another video, but I have used them off camera so far, and they're decent, but not wow factor. This, I'm really liking this. So it's making you think of those Dibs sticks that are double-ended this way, but the texture is really nice. A very soft stick. Hi, Bisky. Got a cat lurking. Super creamy. Does it smell like that classic butter scent? Not exactly. It has like a sweetness to it, but it's not just like butter bronzer. Sweet, kind of tropical, but its own type of thing, I guess. Anyway, I find this to be extremely creamy, extremely nice glide, and very comparable to some different high-end sticks. I mean, I would have to say it's more pigment than the Merit bronzer balm stick. You know, that one has amazing glide, but not all the pigment. Merit blushes tend to satisfy me a little bit more on the pigment scale. But this is going on feeling a lot like, let's say, that Too Faced stick. M Cosmetics Persona. It's kind of in that category for me, guys. It's a really good drugstore cream stick. And the blush is really great too. These CoverGirl ones, though, you should know they don't seem to have any scent, and this does, so something to take note of. I actually kind of did a little bit of a nose contour there. I don't know that I love that, but we'll get blush on and kind of go over some things, but texture of this stick is really good. And then here's the blushy side, so I'm going to sweep that on. Do a nice old streak of that. This is, again, the Berry Tan Duo. Just felt a lot of sticks like this, and these are excellent options from the drugstore. Let's compare them to Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild has those little chubby cream face sticks. They're creamier than those. They go on with even more ease. That's just such a pretty shade there. I love that. Now what I might do is dip into a little powder, just a light powder, a little L'Oreal True Match maybe, anything. I'm kind of going over that nose because I don't know. I just am not a huge nose contourer. But takeaway is, I like these okay, but I'm loving this. We have nothing new for eyes in this video. I went ahead and did brows. I put on Milani eyeshadow primer. I used a little drugstore palette I shopped my stash for, the Hard Candy Montress palette. This is called No Rose Without a Thorn. And I just focused on the mattes for this. I used mid-tone, light, and deep mattes to create that little soft everyday look, and then still playing with this Paradise Big Deal mascara from L'Oreal. I feel like it coats up forever, and I think that is one of the selling points of it is, oh, you can just coat it up and it won't clump. And yeah, you kind of feel like it can keep coating and coating. Frankly, I wish it would give me the results I want after just like maybe 2 coats instead of requiring a lot more. But it does eventually achieve some good length, so I'm okay with that. But we have several new lip products. So just kind of dipping into some new lines here from Revlon. Look at this new cute packaging. They're calling this Revlon Super Lustrous Glass Shine Lip Balm, and I feel like they've had a shine formula that they were putting out, but have they just changed the look yet again? This is the shade Spiced Wine. It does say new. It reminds you a whole lot of a Revlon lip butter. This shade, let me put it on. I'm not in love with it. Smells like vanilla. So smooth, so rich. Reminds me quite a bit of like my Bare Minerals little balms that went over so well during the Emily Awards. I was talking about those a lot. Reminds me of those with maybe a touch less opaque color, but still lots of color with this. A lot of shine. I think I was expecting a bit more toward the soft red end, maybe a little cooler shade. This is pretty toasty and like there's a hint of oranginess to it, a little bit pumpkin-y. I think it's a really nice formula, very creamy, very moisturizing, but I'm basically just a little confused as to what the shine formula was before. Like I have some super lustrous lipsticks labeled shine, but now we've got the white packaging, the new label. Tell me what you're thinking of these. Have you discovered any really good shades? Again, this is Spiced Wine, and it's good for me, but not like a super favorite shade. This is a new gloss from L'Oreal. It's called Plump Ambition Hyaluron Lip Oil, so it's a plumping product, and I got the shade Worth It because I thought they're trying to build around this whole idea of worth it. I even noticed they were selling lip duos of the lipstick and the liner, the Worth It and the Worth It Medium. So this is the shade Worth It, and this really has a plumping feel, okay? So you put it on and it just feels like, okay, pleasant lip gloss. Has a kind of sweet scent. That teardrop shaped applicator, which I do like. It gives you precision toward the tip, but it's a little thicker where it holds product. And then you start to feel that sting, kinda. And I'm not going for a lot of products these days that are feeling like an irritant to my lips, because my lips have been dry a lot, and I don't know, I just feel like that may not be the smartest thing for me to be wearing. But I think this is actually doing some plumping. It's one of those where if I look really close at my lips and I stay really still, I can see a very slight twitch in the lips. Okay, now it's not doing it. It's just like yesterday. I was like, Bub, the brakes made a funny sound, and then the brakes don't make a sound for him. But this is very thin, very comfortable, not sticky at all. And this shade seems like something that a lot of people would be cool with, you know, this kind of soft, dusty rose. But just so you know, it's not like a Buxom where it goes on just feeling cooling, minty tingle, still super comfortable, like never a problem. These got a little bite to them. They've got a little bit of a stingy quality that I'm not wanting to involve my lips in a whole lot right now. But all in all, just the gloss itself, it's a good feeling gloss. Okay, final new thing here. This is from Revlon, and they've got a line of super lustrous glimmer lip oils. This is the one called Plum Pop. This is the darkest one. I'm always going to be intrigued by the sheer dark color that's available because I want to see how dark does she really go. And yeah, we are getting that element of sheerness in this shade. It reminds me so much of the lifter gloss in the color Taffy. That's one that I keep in my little purse all the time. Like, it's giving you that sheer berry look. And honestly, a pretty similar feel to the lifter glosses. You're getting a bigger applicator here, like a buck foot. Spreading it out, you're seeing how much it's shearing out. I think it might be giving just a little more color than Taffy gives, all in all, but pretty similar. But this is nice. Again, feeling so much like a lifter gloss with that thickness, with that ability to be a sheer kind of transparent quality gloss, but not be streaky at all. So that's where the thickness really benefits you. Not sticky, it's just thick and like moisturizing feeling. When they say glimmer, don't be thrown by that word. When I think glimmer, I think shimmer, I think sparkle. This is really just shine. It's not got any little bits of any kind of particle within it. But if you do own Taffy from Maybelline, it's so much like that. It's almost like getting the same product. So I don't know, you might test out a different color, or maybe you just want more of that type of shade. I am really pleased with that. That feels very nourishing, very, very hydrating, and I'd be down to try some more shades of this. So I know it wasn't quite a full face this time because we didn't have new eye goodies, but just as far as the rest of this goes, I feel like there were some good finds. My favorite things that I used in this video, I really do like this double-ended stick from Physicians Formula. I think this may be some of the best cream contour stick, blush stick texture that the drugstore is putting out right now. Ultra creamy, very blendable. There's multiple shades that this comes in. The only thing about it being a duo stick is that you are kind of tied to the other shades. So maybe you'll want to try a different blush color, but you won't necessarily get as much out of whatever bronzer color that is also paired in. So I don't know, maybe people won't do a lot of bouncing around and just kind of stick with a certain shade, but I enjoy that. And then I like this a lot, this Glimmer lip oil. I think they've got a great formula going there, and it's a lot like lifter glosses. I like lifter glosses, so I'm enjoying this as well. So thank you all so much for your time this morning. I appreciate you tuning in, and thank you for sharing in my excitement over these new products, and I will see you again very soon. I love you. I'm gonna sneeze. I'll see you next time. Bye.